Hi guys, it's Jamie here from Horological. I hope you're all having a great day. Now, I'm sitting in the office this afternoon, the sun's setting, and I thought I'd make a video showing you how our marketing system, the horological marketing system, gets more watch sales for your watch brand consistently without relying on launches where you have the big lead up, the big launch that either does well or doesn't do well, and then sales fall flat again throughout the year. I want to show you how you can consistently grow your brand throughout the year using simple things such as email marketing, paid advertising, organic social media, and making them all work together so that when you pay for things like PR or YouTube reviews, you don't have to rely on those reviews leading up to a launch. You don't need to bet on all of that investment paying back within 24 hours twice a year, right? You can make sales throughout the year consistently using the watch brand marketing system that we have developed over the past 5 years. If you don't know about us or what we do before I get into it, we work with watch brands. We have for 5 years now. We've generated over 20 million in tracked watch sales. We manage paid ads. We spend over $500,000 a month on paid advertising on Meta and Google for watch brands that have revenue between about 40,000 all the way up to about 750,000 a month in watch sales direct to consumer. And this is what we do. This is literally, this entire video will show you how we do it. So there's no hiding here. You don't have to put in your details. You can just learn about how the system works. Okay, so this is how most watch brands that we work with, we've spoken to about 280, just shy of about 300 different watch brands over the past 2-3 years. Okay, and this is basically how it works for every watch brand. This is how their marketing works. So they have social media, they have the YouTube algorithm, you've got watch shows, for example, if you pay for a booth there, you've got paid ads, you've got brand write-ups on Time and Tide and so on, and then you have Kickstarter, which some brands use still to this day because they see it gets better results than anything else. So these are the things that essentially lead to brand discovery. Okay, that's how new customers essentially discover your brand. What typically happens after that point that we've seen from all of the audits of accounts we've done, from email marketing to Shopify to Meta, what typically happens after brand discovery is they will either like or follow you on Instagram, and then they will typically visit your website. So one of those two, or they will do both. Now, when they like and follow you on Instagram, within a space of about a month or 2 months of seeing your organic posts, if you're posting, they will then website visit. Okay, once they have website visited, they will typically sign up to email. Now, we see a very high percentage of people come to websites of watch brands, specifically micro brands, and sign up to email marketing. The reason we see that is because most brands offer an incentive like 5 to 15% off your first order. So they do that on a pop-up form and they get sign-ups. And then what usually happens is the customer or potential customer gets completely forgotten about. The reason is because most watch brands have email marketing set up really ineffectively. They might not have proper welcome flows set up, consistent marketing or email campaigns going out. We honestly see about 90% of the watch brands we work with not use email campaigns. They do not send any campaigns to customers unless they're doing a launch of a new watch, which is once or twice a year. They never update them on the brand. They never update them on what's on the website. They never tell them about the watches. They never give them anything to read until there's a launch. And what that results in is every time someone receives an email from your brand, they assume you're about to sell them something. And brand owners think that that is spammy, sending consistent weekly email campaigns, so they don't do it. They only do it when there's a launch. What actually happens is your customers look at an email and they think, oh, I'm about to have to spend money here. They're going to try and sell me on something, which doesn't work. That's not how you build a brand. That's not how you scale. It's not how you consistently make revenue either. It's not respectful to your customers. Now, what typically happens between forgotten and the percentage of people who buy is they will see a YouTube review post-launch, they'll see a brand write-up, they'll go to a watch show and meet you and purchase from you in person, or they will be scrolling on Reddit, they'll see a comment about the watch, they'll become interested in it, and they purchase. Now, this entire process from the watch brands specifically that we have audited, we have seen it take about 6 to 12 months, which is a long amount of time. It's a long time from someone to first touch your brand and then purchase. And there's no certainty, there's no predictability, there's no metrics to be tracked. It's very wishy-washy and low effort, and you never know where your customer's coming from, which is absolutely absurd. Okay, this is how our system typically works. And this is what we call the horological marketing system. It really, genuinely is very simple to understand. It might look confusing, but I will run through it now so that you understand how it works and you will be able to implement it for your own watch brand yourself. So we've got the same stages as discovery. We have found that basically every watch brand has the same stages of discovery: social media, YouTube, watch shows, paid ads, brand write-ups, and Kickstarter. Now, I have highlighted paid ads because the brands that we work with, we run paid ads for them. That is their largest source of traffic, is from Facebook or YouTube advertising. So I have highlighted that in a deeper green color because that is where the brands that we work with, most of their traffic is coming from, okay? Especially most of the qualified traffic. So that's why I've highlighted that, just so you're aware. Now, they will then discover you. That is where we spoke about earlier, where you might have the Instagram follow over here, etc. But they will discover you, and then it will lead to a website visit. Now, if they website visit, we will guarantee that we push them for a web sign up. So we will split test things like the pop-up form. We will figure out how it's going to convert at its highest rate to get you the most subscribers for your money. And what that results in is anyone from a paid ad that doesn't just buy immediately, which is absurd. Not many people do that because they're spending $300, $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $6,000 on a watch. They're not going to see an ad and immediately order one. A very small percentage of people do that. So we will push them for the web sign up so that we can consistently brand build and storytell to them. So we then track if they've seen the pop-up form on the website, they've come in from an ad or from brand discovery, did they sign up? Okay, if they did, they will go into our indoctrination email flow. And this is not spammy at all. It teaches them about the brand, it educates them, and it informs them. It lets them discover your brand and understand why you created the brand, why you create the watches you create, and the amazing stories behind what you do, what you're doing, where you're going, and why they should support you. It does not spam them with discounts. It does not spam them with 5 emails a day. They're very carefully split-tested sequence of emails that introduces them to your brand. Now, when we're sending these, we also track. Did they become a new customer? Did they place an order from this? If they did, then quite simply, we put them into our horological engaged marketing segment and existing customer retention strategy, where we will show them ads like how to care for your watch. We'll send them emails about thank you for your order, and then we'll send them another email saying, here's your top tips for caring for your watch. We'll send them emails telling them about more YouTube reviews to watch, because we have found that so many people who are waiting on receiving their watch will then, for some reason, watch more YouTube reviews of the watch they've just bought because they're excited about it. So we will nurture that and we will encourage it to really indoctrinate them into the brand even further and really make them feel valued, because there's nothing worse than when you order from a watch brand, you get all this marketing, you order, and then you get a thank you for your order, automated email, and you never hear from the brand again until they do another launch. It's really disrespectful to your customers. So we make sure they're engaged every single step of the way. We will then track if they become a repeat customer, yes or no, and we'll keep them in that engaged segment. We'll keep nurturing them in paid advertising as well, okay? Now, when we go back here, if it's a sign-up success and it's no, we'll put them into our retargeting sequence where we directly incentivize them to sign up to your email subscribers. So either they will purchase or they will sign up. So we are getting their information either way so that we can educate them and tell them about your watches and about the brand, okay? So back to new customer here. If they did not become a new customer, we will check, have they initiated a checkout? This is done like through all email marketing. It's not exactly groundbreaking. The only thing that's different here is we know with watch buyers how long it typically takes for them to buy, to purchase, and so on. So we can track, have they initiated a checkout? If they have, then we will obviously put them into a specific paid advertising segment automatically, and we'll retarget to them with higher intent ads. And then we will send them our abandoned checkout emails, and we will never spam them again. We will send them value-based emails that inform them, hey, you were looking at this watch, would you like to learn more? okay? And what we would do every single time is we will check if they've purchased, and if they have, we'll remove them from that segment and they'll not receive any more abandoned checkout emails, because there's nothing worse than buying and then receiving another abandoned checkout email saying, hey, are you going to complete your purchase? It makes them feel like just a number, okay? So you want this to be personal and tailored to your brand. So we track all the way through whether they purchase or don't, okay? If they have not initiated checkout, we'll check, have they browsed a specific watch? If they've browsed a specific watch, then we'll put them into our email segment. So we will send them highly concentrated emails about the watch they were browsing. So if they're browsing a diver, we can put them into a specific flow telling them about that diver. We'll not spam them, we'll not try and hard sell them, we'll just let them learn more in their own time. We'll direct them to YouTube reviews and so on, so that we can cultivate an environment where they feel valued enough to decide to spend their money with you, which is what you want to do with watch buyers. You do not want to hard sell to them. You do not want to say, you need to buy this now. The brands that do that do not become legacy brands, right? They stay micro brands, and they just generally aren't supported by the community, in my opinion. The brands that hard sell and offer discounts are not true micro brands, in my opinion, okay? They're more, I see them honestly typically falling into homage brands and so on, especially with the way they develop and watches that come out. Now, once again, we track from the segment if they become a new customer or don't. If they don't, then we'll put them into our retargeting again to try and get them into this initiated checkout flow and try and get them to purchase, or try and get them to purchase directly. Okay. Now, if they have not browsed a specific watch, we'll put them into a different segment where we'll just keep remarketing to them in our middle funnel until they decide to take that action. Now, there's one thing I want to say here that's really, really important. So many brand owners will have someone discover the brand, they'll maybe go into browse abandonment once they've signed up to email and so on, and they don't understand why certain people do not buy. Now, with watches, first of all, you've got so much competition, and it's usually a higher AOV. It's more expensive for someone to purchase, okay? So quite simply, if they do not purchase, they might not actually like your watches. They might be interested in the brand and interested in the story, but they're waiting on you to release something that captures their attention. We see that time and time again. So you don't need to be offended by people who don't buy. Sometimes people just aren't interested at this time, but they like the story of your brand and they want to keep informed. That's entirely possible. Or something's out of stock and they're waiting on it to come back into stock. Okay, so there's many, many ways that you can look at this and track what's going to, first of all, respect your customers, but also get them to convert. Okay, so that is a breakdown of our marketing system and how we build it. Now, of course, when we work with watch brands, I mean, it's usually a 6-month initial project. So there's a lot of work that doesn't just go into this, but goes into building out an entirely separate system for your paid advertising, figuring out your branding, your brand positioning, where you stand on the dial quadrant, which is essentially our way of calculating how we're going to tackle your marketing, whether it's going to be technical, prestige, utility, or lifestyle. There's so much more that goes into this, but I really wanted to show you the core of the system and how it works at its most basic root form. Okay, so if you own a watch brand, I really hope this was helpful for you. I hope it's explained how we've grown so many watch brands over the past 5 years. If you'd like to learn more, I'll stick a link below to our website so you can learn a little bit about us. No pressure at all. And that is all for today's video. Thank you so much, guys, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.